Have you ever had one of those days where it feels like your emotions are running the show, like a storm you can't escape? Maybe you wake up and anger bubbles up for no reason. Sadness creeps in, or fear just sits heavy on your chest. It's exhausting, isn't it? And you wonder, is it ever going to stop? Maybe it will. And maybe it's okay that it doesn't, because there's a way to live through these waves without drowning in them. Imagine waking up one morning and feeling lighter, not numb, not cold, just steady, like no matter what the day throws at you, you can meet it without being pulled under. That's what I want to explore with you today. Quietly, softly, a journey toward mastering your mind, not by shutting off your feelings, but by understanding them, by befriending them. You don't need to be a Buddhist or meditate for hours in a quiet temple to experience this. Maybe you just need a moment, a breath, a gentle pause in the middle of your busy life. Think about it when you're stuck in traffic or your boss just shouted at you or your child is screaming. Can you just take one slow breath, notice the tension in your shoulders, and whisper to yourself, "It's okay, I see you." That tiny space, that little acknowledgement, is where everything begins. It's not magic. It's small. It's quiet. And it works. In Buddhism, there's this idea called impermanence. Everything changes, including our feelings. Maybe this sounds obvious, but have you ever really sat with that thought? That anger you feel, that panic, that sadness, they are not permanent. They will pass. And it's okay to let them pass without grabbing onto them, without letting them define your day, your choices, or who you are. One thing I've learned personally is that the more I cling to my feelings, my fears, my worries, the heavier they get. But if I just notice them, breathe, even smile gently at them, they lose their power. Slowly, like clouds drifting across the sky. Let me share a little story. A few months ago, I had this terrible argument with a friend. My heart was pounding, my thoughts racing. I wanted to text him back immediately, fire back every word in my mind. But instead, I just sat with it. I noticed my anger. I felt my tight chest. I even whispered to myself, "It's okay, this is just a feeling." That evening, I realized the tension had softened. The urge to react had softened. And the next day, I could speak calmly, even kindly. The storm had passed, and my mind felt lighter. Maybe you've had similar experiences, moments when just noticing a feeling helped it lose its grip. And here's a gentle invitation. If you like these quiet explorations, consider subscribing. Maybe you won't watch every video, and that's okay. But together, we can create a space that whispers to us when the world shouts. A place to pause, to breathe, to feel safe with ourselves, even for just a few minutes. Mindfulness is the heart of all this. And by mindfulness, I don't mean forcing yourself to sit perfectly still or try and stop thinking or meditating like a monk. No, I mean just noticing, feeling the rise and fall of your chest, the small tug of emotion, the way your mind jumps around. It's noticing without judgment. And maybe, just maybe, that noticing is enough. It's enough to create a space between what you feel and how you react. It's enough to let you respond gently instead of reacting harshly. You may feel like you need hours of practice, but really, it can start with tiny things. Noticing the taste of your coffee, the feeling of sunlight on your skin, the sound of your child laughing. Each moment is a chance to pause, to breathe, to be fully present. And the more you do this, the more you'll notice the waves of your emotions passing by without dragging you under. So, today, let's try it together. Close your eyes for a second if you want. Breathe in slowly. Notice the rise of your chest. Breathe out. Feel it soften. Whisper to yourself, "It's okay." Maybe you'll feel anger fade, sadness ease, or even a tiny spark of calm come in. And that, my friend, is the first step. One small breath, one quiet acknowledgement, and the storm loses a little of its power. We'll continue this journey together. In the next part, we'll explore the harder emotions, the fear, the grief, the frustration, and how we can face them without being crushed. But for now, just know this. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be human. And it's okay to start with just one breath. Maybe now you're thinking, okay, I get it. Breathing and noticing is nice, but what about when the really hard stuff hits? When fear grips you so tight you can barely move, when sadness sinks so deep it feels endless, or anger just flares and burns. Maybe it's a work problem, a relationship falling apart, or just life throwing curveball after curveball. It's okay. Truly, it's okay. These feelings are part of being human. And the surprising thing is, we don't have to fight them, push them away, or pretend they aren't there. Sometimes the gentlest thing we can do is turn toward them just a little with curiosity, like a friend approaching someone in pain. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine lost her job suddenly. She was furious, ashamed, terrified, all at once. She told me she felt like she was spiraling and didn't know how to stop. I suggested she just sit with the anger first. Really notice it. Don't try to fix it yet. I said softly. Just feel it, let it talk to you. At first, she laughed, thinking it was silly. But slowly, she realized that by naming each emotion, by feeling it fully without acting on immediately, the storm began to calm. Anger became energy she could channel into looking for solutions. Fear became a signal, not a prison. Grief became a way to understand what truly mattered to her. Maybe that's the first secret. Our difficult emotions aren't enemies. They're messengers. And here's another quiet thought. Maybe we often make things harder because we fight against what we feel. Anger comes, and we tell ourselves we shouldn't feel it. Sadness appears, and we rush to fix it. Fear whispers, and we deny it. What if instead we just said, I see you. It's okay. Thank you for showing up. By giving our feelings space instead of resistance, we stop feeding the fire, and slowly, we regain choice. We start to see that we don't have to act on every wave that rises within us. Some can simply pass. I remember a morning when I was terrified about a decision I had to make. My chest was tight, my mind racing. I went for a walk, just walking, feeling the cool air, listening to the birds. I whispered to myself, it's okay to feel scared. And something shifted. That fear didn't disappear overnight, but I realized I could move through it, step by step. Sometimes just noticing, just naming it, is enough to create a little freedom. And maybe that's the essence of emotional resilience, learning to ride the waves instead of drowning in them. It's not about being emotionless. It's not about becoming a stone or a robot. It's about learning that even when fear, anger, or sadness arrives, we can respond with softness, patience, and clarity. And maybe we can even be gentle with ourselves when we fail, because we will fail, and it's okay. Sometimes you might wonder if anyone else gets it, if anyone else feels this way. That's where connection becomes quietly important. Having someone to share your feelings with, even a small community, can make a world of difference. I think of a meditation circle I once joined. People sat quietly, some with tears, some with trembling hands, some with silent smiles. And without words, without pressure, I felt understood. That's the power of just being seen. Maybe you can find a friend, a group, or even a corner of the internet that feels like that, a place where your feelings aren't judged, just witnessed. And while we're talking about witnessing, here's something I've noticed myself. Small daily habits matter more than we often realize. Pausing before replying to a sharp email, noticing your heart racing in traffic, taking an extra moment to feel the warmth of a cup of tea. These tiny pauses aren't glamorous, but they create space. Space where your emotions can move through you instead of you being swept away. Space where you can choose how to respond. I also want to whisper this. It's okay to ask for help. You don't have to handle every wave alone. Sometimes reaching out, talking, or even writing your feelings down can turn a storm into a passing shower. And maybe when we're gentle with ourselves and allow the space to feel fully, we start to notice a new rhythm, a subtle calm underneath all the chaos. Before we end this part, imagine a life where emotions are teachers, not enemies, where sadness tells you what matters most, where fear signals a chance to grow, where anger highlights what you care deeply about. By embracing them with mindfulness and gentle curiosity, by leaning into them instead of away, we find a steadiness that isn't cold or distant. It's warm, alive, human. And maybe, slowly, that steadiness becomes a quiet refuge we carry with us everywhere. So, if this little exploration resonates with you, maybe consider subscribing. Not for every video, not for perfection, just for a small corner of your day where you can breathe, feel, and be reminded that it's okay. It's safe, it's human. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find that whispering calm we're all searching for, tucked quietly inside ourselves. Maybe now you're starting to notice a pattern. How our emotions rise and fall, how they tug at us, how they sometimes feel like they're in charge. And maybe you're wondering, how do I stop being tossed around by life so much? One of the quietest, deepest teachings I've found in my own life is about letting go of attachment. Not people, not experiences, not love itself, just the grip we think we need to have on them. Maybe this sounds strange, but attachment is often what makes our emotions feel so heavy. That clinging, that constant pull, it creates suffering. And learning to release it gently, softly, can be like exhaling a weight you didn't even know you were carrying. I remember a time when I held on to a friendship that had shifted. I wanted it to be exactly like it was before, and every change felt like a stab to my chest. I was angry, sad, anxious. But one day I tried something small. I sat quietly and said, "It's okay if this changes. I can hold it lightly." And in that moment, something shifted. My chest softened. My mind stopped racing. I didn't stop caring about my friend. I simply let go of the need to control how things were supposed to be. Maybe that's a secret. Non-attachment doesn't mean you stop loving. It just means you love without clenching, without demanding, without expecting permanence in a world that's never still. And here's a gentle truth. Everything changes. Your mood, the people around you, the seasons of life. Impermanence is constant. Maybe you felt grief and wished it would end, but it's teaching you something, showing you how deeply you care. Maybe fear has been your companion, whispering warnings, but it's also guiding you to grow. By noticing that nothing is fixed, nothing stays the same, we find a quiet freedom, a soft release. Like letting leaves drift on a river. We don't push them. We don't hold them tight. We just watch them float. And somehow, it feels lighter. Sometimes, negative emotions feel like enemies. Anger, jealousy, sadness, they can be so loud, so frightening. But what if they were teachers instead? I remember feeling deep anger towards someone I loved. At first, it burned me, consumed me. But when I allowed myself to notice it fully, to ask gently, "What are you trying to tell me?" I realized it was highlighting boundaries I hadn't respected, needs I hadn't voiced. That anger became a guide. Maybe your difficult emotions are like that too, showing you where to pay attention, where to heal, where to grow. And maybe, just maybe, we start to see that compassion, both for ourselves and for others, is quietly powerful. When we meet our own pain with kindness, the sharp edges soften. When we extend that kindness outward, we notice a ripple effect. The world feels a little warmer, a little more gentle. I once sat with a group of friends, each sharing their struggles, and as we spoke softly, listened quietly, I felt it, this invisible thread connecting us all. Our pain was different, yes, but the tenderness we offered each other created a space where growth felt possible. It's in these small, mindful acts, pausing before reacting, noticing the body's tension, breathing through fear, that emotional resilience begins. And maybe if you practice enough, you'll notice something subtle. Life still throws curveballs. Emotions still rise and fall. But you are not your emotions. You are the observer, the gentle witness, the one who can respond with choice rather than reaction. You are the calm beneath the waves. I want you to imagine this. Each challenging emotion as a teacher, each attachment as a weight slowly released, each moment of noticing as a tiny thread weaving peace into your life. You may stumble, you may cry, you may feel lost, and it's okay. That's the journey. That's the human experience. But with each step, each breath, each gentle acknowledgement of what's passing, you build a quiet steadiness that no storm can shake. And here's a soft invitation. If these whispers feel like they touch something inside you, maybe subscribe. Maybe stay a while. Explore these ideas slowly, softly, in your own time. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about learning to meet yourself gently each day, each moment. Maybe this corner of the internet becomes a small refuge, a reminder that calm is possible, even when the world feels chaotic. So, today, let's try this together. Notice an emotion that's present. Name it softly. Feel it without judgment. Whisper to yourself, "It's okay. It's passing. I'm here." Watch how it moves, how it changes, how it teaches you something. And in that quiet noticing, maybe you'll feel it, the gentle, unshakable truth that you are not your emotions. You are more. You are steady, soft, and awake. And as we continue this journey, we'll see how these practices, non-attachment, embracing impermanence, listening to our emotions, can create a life where peace isn't fleeting, where calm isn't rare, and where emotional mastery is less about perfection and more about being fully, tenderly human. Maybe by now you're starting to feel it. The quiet space inside, the gentle pause between each wave of emotion. And maybe you're wondering how to carry that calm into the rest of your day, beyond meditation or quiet moments alone. That's where mindfulness really shines, not as a practice you do in silence, but as a way of being in every ordinary moment. Imagine washing the dishes, not rushing, not thinking of what comes next, but feeling the water on your hands, noticing the scent of soap, the sound of the clinking plates. Maybe it sounds small, almost silly, but these little moments are where life really lives. I remember a morning when I was hurrying to get ready for work. My mind was racing with tasks, worries, deadlines. And then I paused, just for a second. I noticed the warm sunlight on my skin. I felt my breath, slow and steady. I heard the birds outside. That pause, tiny as it was, shifted everything. Suddenly, the chaos felt lighter. I moved through my morning with less tension, less judgment. Mindfulness doesn't have to be grand or complicated. It's simply noticing life as it unfolds, gently, softly. And here's another thought. Mindfulness isn't just about quiet moments. It's about noticing your reactions in real time, like when someone cuts you off in traffic, or your child throws a tantrum, or a coworker snaps. Maybe before, you would have reacted instantly, anger flaring, words flying. But now you can pause. Feel your chest tightening. Notice your breath. Whisper to yourself, "It's okay. I see this. I'm here." That tiny space between stimulus and reaction, that's where choice lives. And in that choice, calm and clarity can grow. Sometimes we think mindfulness is about stopping emotions, but it's not. It's about feeling them fully, without letting them control you. Remember, anger, sadness, fear, they're not enemies. They're messengers. And when we approach them with gentle curiosity, maybe even a little humor or softness, we learn. We grow. We move through life with grace instead of against it. I also want to invite you to notice compassion in action. Small, quiet gestures matter. Smiling at a stranger, holding the door, listening deeply to someone who's hurting. These acts aren't heroic or grand, but they weave connection into our lives. And that connection, that quiet acknowledgement of each other's humanity, strengthens our own resilience. When we act with kindness, the world feels less heavy. And maybe, just maybe, our own hearts feel lighter too. And as you move through your day, notice the subtle shifts. Maybe your chest feels lighter, your mind a little clearer. Maybe you notice how fleeting emotions truly are, how even fear or frustration passes if you let it. Maybe you find yourself smiling more easily, breathing more freely, listening more fully. All these tiny moments add up slowly, gently, creating a life where peace isn't rare. It's quietly present, woven into the ordinary, everyday flow of your life. Before we end, I want to share one last thought. Life will still bring challenges. Emotions will still rise. Things will change. People will change. And sometimes the world feels overwhelming. But now you have tools. Gentle awareness. Quiet observation. Compassion for yourself, for others, for the moment as it is. These are the things that create a steady heart in a shifting world. And maybe that's the most important lesson of all. Mastery isn't about perfection. It's about noticing, breathing, responding with softness, and letting the world move through you without taking it all personally. So, if this journey has touched you, consider staying connected. Subscribing isn't about obligation. It's about creating a small corner where you can pause, breathe, and remember that calm is possible. And maybe, just maybe, you'll carry a little whisper of peace with you throughout your day, to the people you meet, to the moments you live. Remember, you are not your emotions. You are the quiet observer, the steady heart, the one who can respond with care. And as you practice, you may notice a subtle change, not a dramatic shift, but gentle, unshakable steadiness that grows quietly over time. It's in that steadiness, that softness, that we find freedom. That's where the calm lives. That's where we are truly awake, alive, human, and beautifully, fully ourselves. Maybe by now you're noticing a subtle shift inside yourself. A little quiet that wasn't there before. Maybe a thought arises. Can I really carry this calm into the rest of my life? And the answer is yes. Not perfectly, not all at once, but yes, slowly, step by step. Life will still be messy. Emotions will still show up, and unexpected things will shake you. But the difference is how you respond. You start to notice the space between what happens and how you react. That tiny space, that's where freedom lives. I want to share a story. A friend of mine had been carrying resentment toward a family member for years. Every interaction was a trigger, and it weighed heavily on her. One day, she decided to try something small. Instead of reacting with old patterns, she took a breath, noticed a tightness in her chest, and whispered to herself, "It's okay. I can meet this with softness." It didn't solve everything instantly, but it shifted the energy. The conversation didn't end perfectly, but she ended it feeling lighter, more present, more herself. Sometimes that's all it takes. A single pause, a gentle acknowledgement, a small act of noticing. And maybe the secret is in bringing this gentle awareness to everything. Washing dishes, walking the dog, making coffee, talking to a friend. Every moment is a chance to notice, breathe, soften, and connect. Maybe you feel silly at first, but these little acts build a foundation for calm that grows over time. It's not flashy. It's not dramatic. It's subtle, but it's profound. Slowly, you start to carry peace with you, even through chaos. Sometimes we forget that we are part of a larger web. Our emotions, our actions, our kindness, they ripple outward, touching others in ways we may never see. That quiet ripple can change the atmosphere of a room, a family, a workplace. I've seen it in small, unexpected ways. Someone noticing a stranger's struggle and smiling, holding space, offering a word of comfort. And maybe that's the most beautiful part. By cultivating calm and presence inside ourselves, we naturally extend it to the world. And yes, there will still be difficult days. Times when emotions surge, when grief or fear or anger feel overwhelming. And it's okay. That's part of life. The difference now is you have a gentle guide inside yourself. Your breath, your awareness, your quiet reminder that nothing lasts forever, that every emotion is a visitor, and that even the heaviest storm eventually passes. Maybe you stumble. Maybe you lose your footing. But each time you return to this practice, each breath, each pause, each small act of mindfulness, you are strengthening your heart, softening your mind, building resilience quietly, steadily. And perhaps one of the most tender truths is this. You don't have to wait for a perfect moment to start. Maybe it's the middle of a chaotic morning. Maybe it's right after a fight or a disappointment. You can begin anywhere. Simply notice. Simply breathe. Simply soften. Let go of what doesn't serve you, even if just for a second, and feel what's left, your own heart beating, steady, present, awake. I want to invite you to carry this gently with you. Maybe share it with someone who needs it. Maybe write your feelings down. Maybe take 5 minutes today just to notice, just to breathe. These small actions compound slowly, and over time, they create a life where calm isn't rare, where peace isn't fleeting, and where emotional mastery isn't about being perfect, but about being fully alive, fully human, fully yourself. And if these whispers have touched something inside you, consider subscribing. Not for pressure, not for obligation, just for a soft corner of your day where you can pause, reflect, and remember it's okay. It's okay to feel. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to soften. And maybe, just maybe, in those tiny moments, you'll discover the quiet steadiness that has been inside you all along. So as we close this part of the journey, take a deep breath. Notice your chest rising and falling. Feel your feet on the floor. Listen to the world around you and whisper to yourself, it's okay. I am here. I am steady. I am human. Life will continue to move, and so will you, softly, gently, resiliently. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's everything. Maybe by now you're starting to notice a rhythm in all of this, the gentle unfolding of awareness, the soft presence that begins to show up when you pause, breathe, and just notice. And maybe you wonder, how do I make this last? How do I carry this calm, this steadiness, into every day, not just in moments when I remember to sit quietly or when I stumble across a video like this. The answer may be simpler than you think. It's small, it's quiet, and it's consistent. One of the most profound things I've learned is to be gentle with myself. Maybe yesterday was hard. Maybe you reacted, shouted, felt overwhelmed, or made a mistake. And it's okay. Really, it's okay. There's no need to judge, no need to punish yourself. Life isn't about perfection. It's about noticing, about feeling, about learning to meet yourself with a whisper of kindness. When I started treating my own mistakes this way, when I allowed myself just a soft, "It's okay, I'm here," something shifted, the tension lifted, the anger softened, and the world felt a little lighter. And maybe the real magic happens when you start noticing the little ripples in your life. The tiny moments of connection, the soft smiles, the unexpected kindness from strangers. Maybe it's a text from a friend checking in. Maybe it's a cup of coffee that tastes just right. Maybe it's a deep breath in the morning before the chaos begins. These small moments are like tiny threads weaving a tapestry of calm, slowly, invisibly. And the more we notice them, the more we begin to realize that peace isn't something we chase. It's something we allow ourselves to step into. Sometimes I like to imagine each emotion as a visitor coming to my house. Anger knocks loudly at the door. Fear lingers in the corner. Sadness sits quietly by the window. And I invite them in, not to stay forever, not to control me, but to notice them, to acknowledge them, to understand what they want to tell me. Maybe that anger is asking me to set boundaries. Maybe that sadness is reminding me to slow down. Maybe that fear is guiding me to see where I need courage. And then, softly, I let them go. I don't chase them. I don't cling to them. I simply notice and release. And perhaps the most tender part of this practice is recognizing that we are not alone. Even when life feels heavy, even when emotions overwhelm, there's a quiet network of support around us. Friends, family, communities, even strangers sharing similar struggles. They're the invisible threads that remind us we are part of something larger. And maybe, just maybe, every kind word, every gentle gesture, every soft acknowledgement is a ripple that comes back to us in ways we may never fully see, but we feel it. As you move through your days, I invite you to carry a soft awareness with you. Notice your breathing. Notice the sensations in your body. Notice your thoughts without judgment. Whisper to yourself, "It's okay. I am here. I am safe. I am steady." When difficult emotions arise, meet them with curiosity, with kindness. Let them teach you. Let them pass through you. And watch how life starts to feel less like a storm and more like a flowing river. Sometimes calm, sometimes moving fast, always moving forward. And here's a gentle invitation. If these words feel like a quiet companion to you, maybe subscribe. Not because you have to, but because it can be a little anchor, a small reminder in your day that softness is possible, that presence is possible, that peace is possible. And maybe, just by staying here, listening, noticing, breathing, you'll carry a whisper of this calm into your life and into the lives of others. So as we close this part of the journey together, take one more deep breath. Feel it in your chest, in your belly, in your fingertips. Let it remind you that life flows, that emotions come and go, and that you are steady, tender, awake, alive. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. Maybe that's everything. Maybe now you're beginning to sense a pattern, a gentle thread weaving through all the thoughts, emotions, and moments you've been noticing. It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but it's there. It's this quiet awareness that whispers, "I am here. I am alive. I can feel without being consumed." And maybe that's the most important discovery of all. You are not your emotions. You are the observer, the one who notices, the one who breathes through the storm and notices the calm that follows. And speaking of storms, life will still bring them. Maybe a loss, maybe a disappointment, maybe an argument that shakes your core. And it's okay. Really, it's okay. Embracing impermanence doesn't mean avoiding pain. It means noticing that nothing stays the same. The sadness you feel now will change. The fear will fade. The anger will soften. And even joy is fleeting. So you learn to savor it fully while it's here. Maybe this is the quiet freedom that Buddhism speaks of, not controlling life, but flowing with it moment by moment, breath by breath. I remember a morning when I felt completely overwhelmed. Everything seemed too much. Work, family, expectations, worries about the future. And then I stopped. I felt my feet on the ground, my hands resting softly on my lap. I noticed my breath. I whispered to myself, "It's okay. Everything is changing. I can move with it." And in that small pause, the chaos didn't vanish, but my relationship to it shifted. I was no longer carried away by the storm. I was simply present within it, steady, soft, alive. Maybe you've noticed this too, how small acts of mindfulness ripple through the rest of your day. A quiet moment before checking your phone, a deep breath before answering an email, a soft acknowledgement of your own fatigue or frustration. These aren't grand gestures. They're simple. They're tiny, but they accumulate slowly, gently, like a river carving a path through stone. Over time, you start to notice more clarity, more calm, more ability to meet life with a steady heart. And compassion, oh, how important it is, not just for others, but for yourself. Maybe today you judge yourself harshly for a mistake. Maybe you were impatient or frustrated. And maybe it's okay to meet yourself with the same kindness you would give a dear friend. Whisper softly, "It's okay. I'm learning. I'm here." Every time you do this, you create a little more space inside. Space for joy. Space for peace. Space for life to flow naturally without resistance. I want to leave you with one last story. A friend once told me about a time she was stuck in traffic, furious at the delay, and then she noticed a little boy in the next car waving at her. And in that tiny moment, she smiled. The anger softened, the tension released, and suddenly the traffic didn't seem as heavy. Sometimes the world offers small reminders that even in chaos, even in frustration, we can choose softness, we can choose awareness, we can choose calm. So maybe as you move forward, take this with you. Life is not about erasing emotions, controlling everything, or becoming perfectly serene. Life is about noticing, breathing, softening, responding with kindness, and allowing yourself to feel fully while remaining steady. Maybe it's enough to simply whisper, "I am here. I am present. I am gentle." And as you carry that whisper into your day, into your interactions, into your own heart, you begin to embody the calm, the presence, the quiet mastery that's always been within reach. And if these whispers feel like a gentle companion, maybe consider subscribing, not as a task, not as a chore, but as a soft reminder that you can return here anytime, pause, breathe, and remember the calm inside you, that quiet steadiness, that gentle awareness, that tender presence. It's yours, and it's waiting for you in every moment. Take one deep, slow breath now. Feel your chest rise and fall. Feel your heartbeat. Notice the life flowing through you. And whisper softly, "It's okay. I am here. I am steady. I am alive." Life will continue. Emotions will continue. And you will continue softly, gently, fully present. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's everything. Maybe by now you're starting to feel the quiet shift, just a hint of steadiness in your chest, a soft awareness in your mind. And maybe you wonder, how do I keep this going? How do I carry this gentle calm when the day gets noisy, when life feels heavy, when emotions come rushing like waves? The answer may be simpler than you imagine. It's not about perfection or never feeling upset. It's about returning again and again to the breath, to the awareness, to the small pauses that anchor you in the present. I like to think of life as a garden. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it rains. Sometimes weeds pop up, and sometimes flowers bloom in unexpected corners. And your mind is much the same. Sometimes clarity arises effortlessly. Sometimes it's tangled in emotions, worries, and distractions. And that's okay. Each moment is an opportunity to tend your inner garden, softly, patiently, without judgment. Maybe today you notice a moment of irritation and simply breathe. Maybe tomorrow you notice joy and savor it fully. Each act, however small, nurtures your inner peace. Let me share a story. A friend of mine struggled with anxiety for years. Every day felt like a battle with her own mind. And then she began a simple practice. Before leaving the house each morning, she would pause, feel her feet on the ground, take a deep breath, and set an intention for the day. I will notice. I will soften. I will be gentle with myself. Some days she forgot. Some days she got swept away. And that's okay. But over time, those small acts build a foundation. She started to notice that she could meet stress without being carried away by it, that she could feel emotions fully without being defined by them. It didn't happen overnight. It was slow, gentle, and steady, and it changed her life. And maybe this is where we realize something beautiful. Emotional mastery isn't about controlling everything. It's about noticing. It's about curiosity. It's about kindness to yourself and to others. Maybe anger will come. Maybe sadness will arrive. Maybe fear will whisper. And maybe that's okay. You don't have to push it away or fight it. You can meet it with a soft, I see you. I am here. I am steady. Each time you do, you cultivate resilience, grace, and a little more freedom. And perhaps the most tender reminder is this. Life is always changing. People, situations, even our own minds, they shift like clouds across the sky. By embracing this impermanence, you give yourself permission to soften, to release, to flow with what comes. Maybe this morning brings calm. This afternoon brings frustration. Tonight brings reflection. It's all part of the rhythm, and you are learning to move with it rather than against it. And here's a small practice you can carry right now. Even as you listen, notice your hands resting in your lap, your feet on the floor, your breath moving in and out. Feel the life in your body. Acknowledge whatever emotion is present without judgment. And whisper softly, it's okay. I am here. I am alive. I am steady. Even this small act, just a few moments, can ripple through your day, grounding you in calm and presence. Maybe you'll start to notice it in your interactions too, how listening fully to someone, noticing their feelings, responding with kindness instead of reaction, brings a quiet sense of connection. Maybe it's in your work, in a traffic jam, in a busy cafe. Wherever you are, you can carry this awareness like a soft, steady light inside you, gently illuminating each moment. And if these quiet reflections resonate with you, maybe subscribing could be a gentle reminder, a small corner of your day where you pause, breathe, and reconnect with that inner calm. Not because you have to, but because it's a soft invitation to return to presence whenever life feels overwhelming. So as we close this part, take a slow, deep breath. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. Feel the life pulsing gently through you, and whisper softly, I am here. I am steady. I am alive. Life will continue to shift. Emotions will ebb and flow. Challenges will appear. And through it all, you can meet it with quiet resilience, gentle awareness, and the soft certainty that even in the storm, you are present, you are alive, and you are enough. Maybe that's all we need to remember. Maybe that's everything. Maybe as you sit with these ideas, you notice something shifting inside, a softening, a quiet presence, a small space where you can simply be. And maybe you wonder how to carry this feeling beyond these moments, beyond this video, beyond the gentle pause. The truth is, it's less about a big practice and more about little choices, gentle habits, and soft awareness woven into each day. Maybe it's noticing the warmth of sunlight on your skin. Maybe it's listening fully when someone speaks. Maybe it's pausing before reacting, just long enough to breathe, to notice, to respond with kindness. And maybe connection is the quiet secret here. We often think we have to go it alone, that emotional mastery is a solitary journey. But maybe the heart of it is found in others. A soft smile, a kind word, a simple act of understanding. They ripple outward in ways we may never see, but we feel them. And when we extend the same gentle awareness and compassion to ourselves, it magnifies everything. Maybe your presence alone, calm and steady, is a gift to those around you. I remember a time when a friend was going through a rough patch. She felt invisible, overwhelmed, and disconnected, and I simply listened. No advice, no judgments, just a quiet presence. She told me later that it was enough, that someone noticed, someone stayed, someone cared. And maybe that's the lesson. We don't always have to fix or solve. Sometimes being steady, being gentle, being present is the greatest gift we can offer ourselves and others. And maybe the same applies inwardly. Your own presence, your soft attention, your gentle awareness of yourself. This is where transformation quietly begins. Maybe you start by noticing your breath, your thoughts, your sensations. Maybe you whisper softly to yourself, it's okay. I am here. I am steady. And over time, these whispers build into a quiet rhythm, a steady heartbeat of calm that carries you through life's ups and downs. Sometimes the world feels too loud, too fast, too demanding. Maybe the news overwhelms you. Maybe expectations pull at you from every side. And it's okay to step back, to breathe, to return to your inner rhythm. Maybe you take a walk, notice the trees, the wind, the subtle movements of life around you. Maybe you feel your own heartbeat in response. These moments, small as they may seem, are the practice of being alive fully, gently, attentively. And perhaps the most beautiful thing is how small changes ripple outwards. A pause before reacting, a gentle word instead of a harsh one, a moment of understanding rather than judgment. These simple acts transform the space around us. And slowly, softly, they transform us. Life doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to notice, to soften, to allow presence to be your guide. And maybe, just maybe, this is where gratitude begins, not as a forced act, but as a quiet recognition of all the small gifts. The breath that moves in your chest, the life in your fingertips, the people who care, the moment of stillness, the gentle awareness that you can always return to. Maybe noticing these things, whispering softly to yourself, it's okay. I am here. I am alive, is the key to a life that flows more gently, more deeply, more fully. And if these whispers of calm, this gentle presence, this soft guidance resonates with you, maybe consider subscribing, not as a task or obligation, but as a quiet companion, a reminder that you can return here any time to pause, breathe, and remember your steadiness, your softness, your inner light. So as we end this part, take one more slow, deep breath. Feel it rise and fall. Feel the life within you. Feel your presence, your awareness, your calm, and softly whisper to yourself, I am here. I am steady. I am alive. Life will continue. Emotions will shift and moments will unfold. And through it all, you can meet them with gentleness, awareness, and quiet strength. Maybe that's all we need. Maybe that's everything.